So today, I wanted to just talk to you all about intention. We talk about intention, and we talk about intention a lot, especially when we talk about losing weight or exercising. And I try to go for a walk. It's like a 2-mile walk every day. It really 3 out of the 5 days at least. So I thought today I would record myself just a little bit and talk to you guys from here to show you that I walk my talk. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be all made up. It just has to get done. So when you're planning on setting your goals and doing what you want to do, then make sure that you are just being true to you. See, it's cold out here, my eyes are watering. It's okay. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just make sure that you're being true to you and do what you say you're going to do. Keep your promise to yourself, if nobody else. Okay? So keep that in mind next time you say you want to do something. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be done. That is our influential and significant moment today. Keep that in mind the next time you set your intention. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Today we're going to talk a little bit about daylight saving time. Notice I didn't say daylight savings time. We're not putting away a savings of our day. It's daylight saving time. I read a little article about it to understand the history of it, and because it was confusing me as to why we pushed it up. I personally am not a fan of daylight saving time. I don't like giving away my hour. I like to keep my hour. It makes such a difference in my life, and then I have to wait until now, November, to get it back, which I can definitely feel the difference. I don't know about you guys out there, but originally it's believed that we did that for the farmers. And as it turns out, the farmers actually don't like it because you can't change their schedule. Like, the cows don't get up any earlier so that they can meet the deadlines and all of these things. So it actually throws their day off by an hour. The other reason that it's believed we have daylight saving time was to save energy. But as it turns out, we're only saving maybe about 1%, if that, because during the months that it exists, we're using other appliances to offset the difference, really. So the difference in savings isn't really all that much. And in one of the other states that tried it later, they learned that they actually went over their energy amount budget by 1%. So their energy actually increased by 1%. So it actually doesn't help them. And really what happens is it depends on how close or far you are from the equator. And that's really the determining factor as to whether or not daylight saving time is a benefit or a non-benefit to you. But it got me thinking about things we do with the intention of making things better when actually the difference that it makes isn't all that great, but we continue to do it. Why is the question? Because for me personally, I know for daylight saving time, I don't understand why we do it every year. It doesn't make a bit of difference. Now, supposedly it does make a difference with regard to oil prices, but even that, I think that now with the energy-based cars that we're using and the way technology has changed the way we do things, based on what I read, even that difference is minor. So why continue to do that if it's not really making all that big a difference? Well, on the one hand, even a little difference is still a difference, and it could be a benefit. So that 1% of savings that we are seeing might be enough to just keep us positive, on the positive side. And when I say that, I want you to kind of think about also the projects and the things we do in our life. It's not just equated to daylight saving time. When we take steps toward a thing, a project, a goal, a dream, when we see our progress, it's not always great. It's not always a large progress. Sometimes a little progress is enough to keep you going. What questions you want to raise is this slow progress enough to keep me moving with this process? In the case of daylight saving time, again, in my opinion, we could take it or leave it because the savings and the differences that we're seeing aren't enough to justify throwing us all off for an hour for 6 months in the year. However, when you're thinking about your tasks and you're thinking about how you're moving forward with your goals and your life plans, sometimes that initial momentum is small. But if you keep tracking it over time, you start to see greater and greater and greater profits or benefits. That's when you want to continue with your process. But like anything, you want to evaluate where you are constantly. I mean, not every day. It's like getting on the scale every day when you're trying to lose weight. That's just frustrating. You don't want to do that. But you do want to take a periodic analysis of where you are. Because, like business and life, sometimes you do need to make an adjustment. Sometimes you need to stop this action and implement a different action. The other piece of that is that sometimes our trajectory changes. We do change our goals and our paths sometimes depending upon what comes up. Life is pretty random, so you never know what might come up. I mean, heaven forbid that you suffer an illness, a life-threatening illness, you lose a family member, you lose a limb. Any of these traumatic things that happen is certainly going to cause you to have to do a shift. But even minor things like financial situations that could change, although in some cases those are pretty major as well, you want to take a pause, take a beat, and evaluate if what you're doing is actually serving the greater purpose, or are you doing it just because you've done it that way forever and you don't really want to stop? That's really the question you want to ask yourself. Is this giving me the results I want, or do I just not want to change? Hopefully, you look at the answer and you decide to change for the better of you. Although there are folks out there that simply just don't want to change, and that's unfortunate. We'll work around those folks because we do want to change. We want to change for the better. We want to move forward in the things that we are reaching for in our goals and our plans in our life. I always say life is not a spectator sport. You don't want to look at life from the sidelines. You want to be an active participant. And in order to be an active participant, you have to evaluate the game. If you look at sports, if you look at business, if you look at anything that has a range of progress, you'll know that along the way, the key players take a beat. They analyze what's working, what's not. They sometimes keep some things, even some things that are working might be changed just because of the shift in the priority. I challenge you today to look at your life, look at your goals, look at your plans, and take analysis. Check and see if what you're currently doing is working. If it is, bravo, brava. I say keep on going with that. If it's not, however, I want you to be courageous enough to say, okay, I tried that. It's kind of working, not really. Let's shift it a little and let's try something else. I know you're strong enough to do that because it will only benefit you in the end. We'll be right back.
28 Days to Happy is a daily guide to walk you through acknowledging and accepting the truth about what's really going on in your world, to forgive yourself and others for the wrongs you feel have been done to you, and ultimately to identify and celebrate the happiness that is always there, no matter what comes your way. The positive side of the bad stuff is a handy companion when you need a pick-me-up. It's a collection of blogs that speak primarily to personal soft skills that we all manage every day, from joy to grief, from who cares to self-care. It will give you a guide to make sense of the things in your life and find your positive side of the bad stuff. Both books are available now at Amazon.com and my website at www.softskillsdirect.com.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our show today about daylight saving time and putting your intention toward change. I want to leave you with a quote by Ian Van Zant that says, "You can't move on to the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one." Gotta love that. So put your intention forward and be willing to change and be willing to give up that hour of your life towards something that actually serves you. Have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next week. Again, Facebook, tweet, and subscribe to the positive side of the bad stuff. Until next time, go, be, do.